So time to look at the wooden decks. I've cut out the one for the aft deck. And when I'm looking at this, I'm not sure if I like that it's so pristine. So I'm thinking that I should give it a stain and then seal it with a varnish before I glue it to the hull. And I'm definitely not going to use the adhesive. I'm going to take, of course, the plastic off and then use wooden glue, Gorilla Glue, to glue it to the hull. The wash I'm thinking of using is this from AK Interactive, but thinning it out so it's not as heavy as it is directly from the bottle. So just using some thinner, so this odorless thinner should work out fine. At least it has done before. I'm not going to take so much that it will be very dark, but at least add that the light color is a bit more darkened, so it looks a bit more used and like wear and tear. So yeah, moving on. So I have just added some thinner and a couple of drops of the wash, and then simply just adding a light wash to the deck. Nothing fancy, not trying to get it even or anything, because I want it to look worn, but not too much, because I think they kept their ships pretty tidy. But at the same time, some wear and tear, and I might be adding some more later on in areas of high use or where there would be oil spills or something like that. But that's for later on when things are been put together and I see how it pans out. But nothing too fancy at this point, just darken the wood a bit. So then the decks are ready. They have been given a light wash and a varnish and have dried over the night. So now it's time to add some glue to the deck using Gorilla wooden glue. So I'm just using a brush to add the glue on the deck, and then removing the plastic on the back side, and then putting it. So I have, of course, dry fitted, and it looks good. I've removed some tiny parts of the deck to get it to fit, and you can see the difference here between the wash and the original one. So I think it looks a bit more realistic, and you can also see the boards a bit better with the wash. So I think that's good. So then, yeah, and this part doesn't say on the manual that it should be removed, but it should definitely be removed. And then just applying it to the deck. Try not to mess up the walls. Or get too much on the outside. That can be easily dried away, of course, but still. Trying to get an even layer or coat of glue. So this will definitely keep the deck in place for a long time. If you just use the adhesive on the back side, then it will eventually pop up, and that's definitely not something that you would like. Just add some more in the back there. Taking my trusty lens glass cup and a toothpick just to apply it to the corner on the inside here. And then it's to remove the back paper, the plastic. Positioning as good as possible. And when you use the glue, you have a bit more leeway in moving the deck as well, which is not possible if you use just the adhesive on the back and then start in the middle, pressing the deck in place. Start in the middle, work yourself out towards the sides. Then I'll just use the back side of the brush to get the decking in place where my hands do not fit. Yeah, so that's more or less the procedure. Put some something on this over the night and let it dry before starting to work more on the deck itself. So pretty happy with that one. So that's the same procedure that you need to do for all the decks. So yeah. So now the wooden deck is glued on. It's dried for 24 hours and it looks really good if you ask me. The only thing I see is there's some misalignments, especially the gap here between the sides is a bit bigger than I think that the parts for the boards on the sides are adapted to. But let's see how that will work out. Otherwise, quite nice, I think. So then I will be moving on to detailing the different parts, the stern and the front, the bow. So that will be new logs. Okay, thank you. I hope it gave you some input. Like and subscribe.